Are you a Libra? Do you know a Libra? Or maybe you've got a lot of Libran energy in your birth chart. Well, if so, this is the video that you need to watch because we're going to talk about all your beautiful traits and how to make them more beautiful with some essential oils as well. Plus, if you are dealing with a bit of a troublesome Libra, we've got some solutions for you as well. Welcome to this episode all about Libra and their essential oils. And Liz, thanks for joining me again today.
I'm wondering, I don't think I've ever met a troublesome Libra. Is there such a thing?
A troublesome Libra? No, but I think they have their own challenges that they probably suffer in silence a lot of the time about. So maybe we can give them some tips on how to counteract that today.
Yeah, I love them. I love Libran people.
Yes. I think the only challenge may be if you are in a bit of a rush, Librans aren't very good at sometimes being on time and getting them to make a bloody decision. That can be a challenge. And that's probably where I struggle a lot with Librans. But we'll come to that in a point. I want to focus on how beautiful they are. Now, one thing that's really interesting about Librans is when you look at all the symbols of the zodiac signs, Librans are the only ones that their symbol is an inanimate object. Everything else is either a form of a human or an animal in that way. Now, of course, the symbol for Libra is the scales, and that is about harmony and balance. And that really brings in the essence of Librans. They like their life to be harmonious and balanced. They like life to be beautiful. They've got an eye and a good sense of style and aesthetics. But on a interpersonal level, they're also the ones that they should all be working in the UN. They're trying to find harmony. They're known for being the what's the word I'm looking for, Liz? They're good
They're
at
peacekeepers, aren't they? They're just
peacekeepers, yep, and really great at helping to compromise and facilitate. So that everyone wins. They really do look for that win-win solution, which if you've ever tried to organize a gathering with more than a few people, you know how hard that can be, and sometimes that can spur Libras into having some challenges as well. But to really bring out that harmonious nature, to dive into our essential oils, I think there's no better essential oil that really encapsulates Librans than geranium. We use geranium for balancing the skin, for balancing the hormones. It's really great for helping to detoxify the body, to make the body more beautiful again. On a holistic level, we use it for balancing out relationships, for making sure there's equal give and take in interpersonal interactions, but also in the heart chakra as well. And so, geranium, I think they should diffuse it around their space, use it in their skincare, and it just kind of embodies that harmonious balance that Librans really seek.
yeah, I agree. Well, that would be my oil that I would take to the desert island geranium. So I would be its best ambassador. But I think as a sign, Libra is ruled by Venus, and you could have like rose or geranium. But as you quite rightly say, I think geranium is just like it's not the shining star like roses. It's just like everybody just get along beautifully. And ylang ylang as well. Ylang ylangs like that as well.
Yeah, so I think that would be a really great one. Plus, Librans are renowned for liking beauty and skincare, and so geranium is a really valuable asset for helping to balance out the skin, whether it be oily or dry as well. Another oil I think can be really powerful to bring out the best in Librans is pink pepper. Now, pink pepper is really great. It's also a heart chakra essential oil, and I do find Librans they really do operate from the heart chakra, but it allows them to speak their truth and to say what needs to be said. Now, Librans, in their effort to try and please everyone, sometimes can quieten down a little bit or not say things. But I think because they have such a considerate and empathetic viewpoint of everyone else, whereas some people may be focused primarily on their needs, Librans really do kind of consider everyone. And I think they need to be given a voice as much as possible when there is a group situation. And pink pepper, anointed over the heart chakra, gives them the courage to speak the truth, to say what needs to be said, and to make sure that they don't shrink back when louder voices are trying to dominate in a conversation as well.
Yeah, I mean, if there was one thing that a Libra is frightened of, and they use the word frightened loosely, like as an archetypical word, it's confrontation and conflict. They really don't want to go up against somebody. It's completely against, what their archetype wants to do. And I mean, I've got three lovely Libras in my life, and all of them will be, if I say, should we do something? Yeah, let's do that. But you'll say, well, what do you want to do? I don't mind. I want to do what you want to do. And that's not just stalling. That is absolutely, they do want to do what you want to do. So I do think that the peppers generally are very good for that kind of, okay, but what about you side of things? Yeah.
Yeah, they could definitely benefit from Brazilian pepper, black pepper as well, because they are about that authenticity. And that kind of leads me into one of the oils when Libra does fall a little bit off balance. I found my prototype Libran is my sister. Her sun, her moon, and Mercury are all in Libra. And I will remember this until the day I die. This is the prime example of Libran behavior. So the family was getting together for her birthday. She was organising it. She said, "I'm happy to organise it." Obviously, you're toing and froing and trying to get everyone's schedule together. So we got it together. We're all sitting at the restaurant. She's running late. She's not actually there, and we're all wondering where she is until we get a message from her. And she said, "I'm so sorry. I forgot that I told a friend I'd help them move house tonight. I won't be able to make it to my own birthday dinner."
Oh,
And that is truly where Liberals will kind of make sure, or that everyone else is happy, sometimes at the detriment of themselves. And knowing who they are, I've watched my sister transmute into different versions of herself. She's almost like Madonna, a different version every album kind of thing, depending on who she's dating. And she'll become like hippie version or, money mogul version or whatever. But they do need to make sure that they bring in their opposing energy. And we've talked about this in past episodes. The opposing episode to Libra is Aries, and Aries is about putting oneself first. A really good oil for Aries and that Aries nature is coriander seed. I find coriander seed is an oil of the warrior and making sure that you are at your best so you can give your best to the world. And I think when Librans slip into that tendency of making sure they're worrying about everyone else and everyone else is happy at the detriment of themselves, then coriander seed would be a really great one for them to work with.
that's fascinating. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I like it. I think that's a good match.
Mm. The other one is because they are so heart led, heartbreak can lean heavy on them. There is also Librans can have a tendency when they are quite insecure to jump from one relationship to the next, or even before they've ended one to already be in the next one, just because the idea of being alone can quite scare a Libran. To deal with that, bring in a bit of strength and also to deal with heartbreak, I think birch can be a really great oil. Birch is sacred to Venus, which is the ruler of Libra, and is a really nice one for helping to cleanse away pain and making sure that our behaviors in love and in life aren't dictated from past hurts, creating scripts and behaviors and beliefs that end up negatively impacting future relationships. So I think any Libra that is feeling heartbreak, this can be a really great oil for them as well.
That's really interesting. I would never thought of birch like that. It's not an oil that I know huge amounts about. But I agree that would be like their core wound, that they worry about being on their own. They're worried about being rejected. They're worried about being abandoned. They feel most comfortable in a pair. Yeah.
Yeah. The other great thing about birch, and I know when I was working on my next book that comes out later this year called Breathing with the Earth, I wanted to do an ode to the bark oils, so oils that we get from bark. And I'm like, do you know any more? Because basically, I was thinking of cinnamon bark, I was thinking of cassia. You can get an oil from balsam firs bark. And then there was birch, which comes from the bark as well. And that's pretty much it. There are a few kind of ones that might be from a bark, but there aren't a lot of plants that actually have an essential oil in their bark. And bark oils are really good for boundaries. And that's where Liberals need to draw, this is who you are, this is who I am. I'm willing to kind of merge with you and understand you and empathize with you, but I can't lose myself in you so much so that it's detrimental to my own well-being. So birch can also be beneficial in that way too.
I forgot to follow up with you while you asked me that. That's interesting to see that slot into place. Presumably, the secondary metabolites congregate at the inside of the tree, maybe that they grow outwards like that, and so they're stronger at the heartwood than they are further out. Maybe that's why there's not that many essential oils of them. Maybe, I don't know. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm
Hmm.
Elizabeth Ashley, UK Director for the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy and founder of the Aromatic Mystery School, where essential oils meet the deeper, more mystical side of healing. Here you'll explore the spiritual, emotional and energetic dimensions of plants and learn how to weave them into your own rituals and well-being practices. If you're ready to work in a way that nourishes both your soul and your senses, join us at the Aromatic Mystery School. The link's right below.
Now, you've been kind of helping us understand the medical astrology aspect of things as we go through this journey of the 12 zodiac signs. Tell us a little bit about the medical astrology of Libra.
Well, I quite like it when you have a go at guessing. So, what's your thoughts? It's not easy to guess this one, I have to say, but it's quite satisfying if you do work it out. What do you think, Libra rules?
Okay, well, I know that when we talked about Virgo last week, we're in the digestive system and the intestines. I know that Scorpio, which we've got next, is to do with the sexual organ. So there isn't much room left down there as we work our way down. So I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to pass on this one, I think.
Kidneys.
Ah,
There's two of them, you see. And so kidneys, lower back, lumbar spine, bladder, veins, and the skin. And specifically, when it's like, so that's like the anatomical side. The physiological side it rules how the blood is filtered. And so urine, electrolyte balance, all of those things. So there will be a weakness in the kidneys or bladder, but the thing that you will see more often is they'll complain of lower back pain.
hmm.
And when you study massage, what you come to realize is the sort of areas of the back that relate to different things based on how you sit, how you kind of project yourself. So, for example, work stress is here, lower back is relationships. And so you'll quite often see tension there if somebody's got marital problems, sexual problems, all of those things. And of course, all of those would fall into the Libra dynamic of like, but I really want things to be right between us. So what you'll find when you've got somebody lying on the couch is you'll have this huge amount of tension in the lower back. And if you do dowsing or anything like that, or if you send them for tests, sometimes you'll find there's low levels of issues within the kidneys as well. So when we're looking at it from a medical astrology point of view, with the kidneys, you've got kind of two concerns. The first is that when things are okay, things are okay. When things are not okay, then your oils become difficult to use. So, for example, we wouldn't want to use too much cypress, or we wouldn't want to use too much juniper or fennel, because they put so much pressure onto the kidneys, and that's a weakness in them. So these are oils that we would choose, but we would say, right, we only want to use them in really small amounts. But the oil that's probably the very best for working on kidney issues with somebody in Libra is rose. Rose is really good for renal colic, and as we've said, ruled by Venus. Very good at this sort of relationship thing of harmony. So for top of the tree, I would say would be rose.
So, and yes, it's definitely a Venus and definitely a Libran oil as well. Just to bounce back to the lower back as well, I know that also the lower back can represent feeling unsupported. And
Yeah.
when Librans are supporting everyone else, sometimes it's not too reciprocal. That's why I was talking about geranium. Geranium I wouldn't necessarily use on the lower back, but it is about making sure that you support yourself and don't, care for everyone else at the detriment of yourself. So yeah, rose definitely makes sense for sure.
So the other thing that they can have is circulatory problems, because how things move through the veins. You've already spoken to geranium, absolutely bang on, perfect for circulatory issues, as are the peppers. Again, you've spoken to the pepper. I would have said black pepper for that, but circulatory issues are a big thing in people, Virgo people. And so if you were kind of looking at, right, if I want like a really good idea of practitioners to have around me, then somebody who knows about lymphatic drainage and working on the sort of the Venus side of things, and by that I mean OUS rather than Venus the planet, and the fluids and how they pass through the body, then somebody who knows about lymphatic drainage is really helpful.
Yeah. Are there any other oils that you think specifically would work well with that lymphatic and that venous drainage for the Librans?
Well, remember, so all of the oils that I would say for lymphatic, so the ones that I've said, be careful because it's heavy on the kidneys. So we're going juniper, we're going cypress, we're going fennel. So what's good about somebody who knows about lymphatic drainage is they can do that drainage manually. It's called manual lymphatic drainage. They don't need to rely on the oils. They can do it manually. So that's a much better balance for them that way. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The other thing that they struggle with for some reason is their skin is not great. And you mentioned that they really like skincare. Well, that's because they have a natural propensity to things like eczema, to acne, and to have really sallow skin. And again, this is stress related. You know, it might not be all day, every day, but if things start to be stressful, it will be their skin that takes the problem. And so two oils that I think are really helpful for the skincare. We've already said rose, geranium. To that I would add bergamot and clary sage. Really good astringent oils that are super for things like for acne. Really great oils for Librans.
Beautiful. So overall, Librans are trying their best to make the world a more beautiful, harmonious place. And there are lots of essential oils because we know that plants, basically all plants, are trying to help us regain that harmony as well. So I think Librans can really benefit from diving into the world of aromatherapy and especially some of the oils that we've discussed today. We'll be back next week when we dive into our next zodiac sign. If you want to go deeper into the different essential oils we've talked about, check out the playlist and the videos that are appearing around the screen now, because they'll take you even deeper down the rabbit hole of Libran essential oils. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care and blessed be.
Bye-bye.
Whoa. One more thing before you go. Hopefully, you got a little bit more excited about essential oils in this episode, and you may be running off to go buy some more. Now, before you do that, I want to talk to you about quality of essential oils. Did you know that around the world, there is no regulation or governance about the labeling of essential oils? Anyone can call an essential oil pure, natural, organic, and it doesn't have to be. In fact, 75% of what's sold as lavender around the world is not even from the lavender plant. This can be ineffective in an oil, but it can also mean that the oil can be harmful for you. Not only physically, but metaphysically, it's not going to work well either. So I went on a journey to find the best essential oils that I can trust, and I found doTERRA to be absolutely amazing. Not only do they test all their essential oils, but they have an independent third party test them at the end of their journey to make sure only in the bottle is what nature intended. However, if you want to get doTERRA essential oils, don't just jump on their website. Reach out to me and I'll give you a discount code so you can get them at a cheaper price. But I don't just want you getting essential oils. I want you to learn how to use them each and every day for the body, mind, heart, and for the spirit as well. So when you become one of my customers, you get free access to a lifetime discount code. We have online portals where you can learn more, and we have giveaways and freebies and all different things like that. So I'd love you to join my wellness community. Simply click on the links below and let's get started with you using real essential oils as nature intended.